There you go.
Well, right in the middle of the 12-inch snow zone, Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's where our Mike Seidel is live this afternoon. Mike, you don't have a coat on. Where are you? You're not in the snow?
Not yet. It's not snowing here. We came indoors to talk to our friends at the National Weather Service ladies here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And first, let's introduce the gang here. We've got Jeff Last, who's the warning coordination meteorologist. Jeff, thank you for the hospitality, letting us in the front door, because a lot of times with me, you know how it is. Yeah. Let's introduce everybody around. Ashley is the one working the hardest right now. That's Ashley Allen, who is the short-term forecaster and is making the decision as we talk on whether we're going to have a blizzard warning here upgraded from a winter storm warning.
That's right, yeah. She's looking at the latest information here, watching that snow band, initial snow band move in, and we're looking at whether or not we need to upgrade to a blizzard warning for Green Bay and the Fox Valley here in east central Wisconsin.
And the concern is not only the wind but the snow, but what's the crux of the issue? Because you didn't issue one this morning.
Right. The main issue is the wind coming down the bay. It accelerates. We have winds well over 30, 40 miles an hour even. The heavy snow, and of course the commerce on I-41 and I-43. It's a very busy part of east central Wisconsin. So we're looking at all that now and making that determination.
So we'll know within an hour. Let's slide over here to Phil Karemski, who is the senior Met. And what is Phil doing today besides drinking a Cherry Coke Zero?
Well, he's working on the long-term part of the forecast. You know, we've got the storm, of course, for tonight and tomorrow, right. But there's 6 more days of weather to forecast, so he's looking at our next weather systems that we're going to be looking at.
Looking at the Easter forecast. Yeah. Over here we have Scott Coltis, who's a forecaster, and also Scott Birchbeck, who's the social meteorologist.
Yeah, Scott, they're working on some of the observations, quality, making sure all those observations coming in are good. And of course, with social media, it's an important way to disseminate information to Facebook and Twitter followers. So we're getting all that information out to the public.
And Scott was talking earlier about the roads being warm farther to the south, Milwaukee and Sheboygan, and even Appleton, where it's down to a mile in light snow. There are, this time of the year, too, with a sun angle, even at this latitude.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's great to get that information off of social media, for example, to see how the roads are doing, how the roads are reacting to the snow. So we're looking at all that information and using that to help our forecast here for northeast Wisconsin.
Okay, Jeff Last here at the National Weather Service in Green Bay. We're going to be here for a little while until the flakes start flying. We're going to have quite the storm here. If we get over 13.2, it'll be the biggest storm of the season, ladies. We'll see how that shakes out. It's going to come down hard later tonight through tomorrow morning, and we're expecting at least a foot here in the Green Bay area.
And Mike, I love the tour of the inside and what everyone's jobs are doing and how they're doing it. I have to ask you though, you know, they're meteorologists. This is a really interesting weather event. What are they thinking about all of this being, you know, later in the season in that part of the country?
Okay, Maria LaRosa asked the entire group here at the Weather Service, how are you feeling about this event? Because it is later in the season, although it is Green Bay, and it is late March, and you've had big storms this late in the season. Let's take a little poll around here. Everybody excited about this? Yeah, everybody's got thumbs up here. How about the short-term forecaster?
Ashley, what do you think?
Ashley, what do you think? Yeah? Okay. It'll be just a few minutes. We're going to talk to Ashley, and we'll get the definitive word on whether we have a winter storm warning continuing or the blizzard warning here in the Green Bay area. Maria and Alex and Ashley, we'll be back with you in a few, okay?
Great to see you.
There you go, ladies.
Great to see you warm and toasty for now. Mike Seidel in Green Bay for us. Really appreciate it. And as Mike, in the heart of the heavy snow zone is Green Bay, Wisconsin, and that's where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel this afternoon. Mike?
Good afternoon, ladies, and we've got the word now. We've been in here for about a half an hour or so, and they told us that they were considering a blizzard warning, and we've got Ashley Allen, who is one of the forecasters, the short-term forecaster, and you were thinking seriously, and what's the word?
We do think we're going to go with a blizzard warning for the Fox Valley or out towards eastern Wisconsin.
And you're going to hit the, what do you hit a button and send out the information?
Yeah, we just send everything from here. We are the official source for any watches and warnings. So all we have to do is hit transmit, and it sends out to the world, and everyone
receives it. Well, let's transmit the warning, and let's look at the graphics so we can give folks an idea.
Yeah, so...
There we go.
Yeah, here's our winter storm warning that we have out for most of northeast Wisconsin,
Right.
and then the blizzard warning goes into effect just after
What's that?
midnight.
About 6, 7 counties?
About 7 counties, mainly for where the northeast winds are going to come off of the lake.
And down the Fox River?
Down the Fox River.
So that includes all the Door County Peninsula.
Door County Peninsula, Green Bay, Appleton, Outagamie, Oshkosh, down into Manitowoc could see some conditions as well. Very dangerous driving conditions right through the Thursday morning commute.
And you notice just to the south here, what we have is we get into the rain. It's been raining in Madison, Milwaukee. Very sharp cutoff south of, Manitowoc, that area, Sheboygan?
Yeah, down to Sheboygan into Madison is where you're going to have that transition back and forth from snow to rain to mix, hence why they have lesser amounts and not any kind of upgraded headlines.
And how many inches you're expecting for the storm here in Green Bay?
In Green Bay, we're expecting about a foot, give or take an inch or two, depending on where the heaviest snow sets up.
That's what we're thinking now. We're going 8 to 12 tonight and another 3 tomorrow. And if we get 13.3, that'll make it the biggest storm of the year. Are you rooting for the biggest storm of the year?
I mean, if you're going to go out, you should go out big if you're going to go into spring.
And turn around now. Ashley is from the Boston area, and she told me you did not miss last winter.
Oh, no. Yeah, I've been living here in Green Bay for the last 5 years, and I do not miss climbing out my window to shovel out my front door.
And a shout out to your alma mater.
Plymouth State University. You graduated there in 2011.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Wow, a freshly minted grad from Plymouth State. Okay, Alex and Maria, there you go. Blizzard warning now for Green Bay and the area, Appleton, until...
The worst conditions should be till 9 a.m. tomorrow, but we do have the blizzard warning out until about noon, just in case, yeah.
Okay, there you go. We're going to be here to show it to you. No flakes yet as I look out the window, but any moment now we should see the snow start to fly here in Green Bay. We're going to be on this evening. Mike Bettis with Weather Underground coming up from 6 to at least 9 Eastern from the Rochester, Minnesota area where it's been snowing since before lunchtime. And then we'll be back in the morning during the height of the storm. Ladies?
All right, Mike Seidel and Ashley Pradley representing. We appreciate the latest information, literally the latest, where we have those warnings now issued for the Green Bay area. Take a look.
Not too far off towards the east is Mike Seidel. He's in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where they're waiting for some of that heavy snow to arrive.
Right, and they're already anticipating not just the heavier part of the snow story, Mike, but also the wind component as well.
Yeah, they just issued the blizzard warning. We showed that to you live on the Weather Channel. We've moved outside into the cold and the wind. The sky is very, very fuzzy. It's been snowing rather significantly to our south around Oshkosh and in Appleton. Look at the sky, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's that fuzzy appearance, so it's snowing aloft and evaporating on the way down. Any moment now we'll start to see our first flakes hit the ground here in Green Bay. We're out here at the Upper Air building, and warning coordination meteorologist Jeff Lass from the National Weather Service is here, and we're going to be setting up a weather balloon coming up at what they say 00 Zulu, which is 7 Eastern, 6 Central, and it's going to be quite the event tonight because of the wind.
It will be. It's going to be an interesting release of that weather balloon. Here's the instrument to package the radio sound that's attached to the balloon, which is filled with hydrogen, and as that ascends through the atmosphere, it collects temperature, humidity, air pressure, and wind information that we use for forecasting.
And there are 70 upper air stations in the continental U.S. This is the only one in Wisconsin.
Yes. That's right, yeah, and all that information is used in our weather models that we talk about all the time to try to forecast where these snowstorms are going to go.
Yeah, this information will be part of the literally billions of bits of information that go into the what we call the 0Z runs of the GFS and the European and the NAM models.
All those models will receive this information and hopefully put out a really accurate forecast.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Jeff, thanks. We're going to stick around. And ladies, tonight at 7 Eastern with Mike Bettis on Weather Underground, we're going to show you the balloon launch live as it takes off in these gusty winds. It should be quite a sight. And we'll bring it to you live here as by that point it should be snowing here in this part of Wisconsin. Maria and Alex, back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you. Fascinating behind the scenes right there.
Yeah, that's going to be some cool stuff. Hey, right in the middle of that 12-inch snow zone is Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's where our Mike Seidel is live this afternoon. And now you're back outside, Mike.
Yeah. Yes, we are. We're out here in the snow pen. You can see the Doppler radome, and that's the Weather Service here in Green Bay. We're out here with Jeff Last, who's been nice enough to come out without his parka. He's the warning coordination meteorologist, and this is where we measure the snow. While we await the flakes to get down to the ground, obviously, Jeff and I were just talking, it is snowing probably, what, 4,000 or 5,000 feet?
Oh, absolutely.
But the air is so dry, it's not getting down. But it will get down, and we'll have a whole different picture in a few hours.
Yeah.
Tell us officially how we measure snow, because folks always ask me, you know, do you wait till the end of the storm?
Right. Well, officially, every 6 hours we make a measurement. But certainly it's important to pick a spot that is free of drifting and can accumulate the snow accurately. So we have an area that's penned off here. We have snowboards that are painted white so that there's as little melting as possible.
Right.
And we take a ruler and we make a half a dozen or so measurements on our two snowboards to ensure that we've got a good average snowfall.
And then you wipe it clean.
Every 6 hours we wipe it clean, and we do it again, and then we add those all up for the 24-hour or 36-hour snow total.
And then you take the snow, the actual solid flakes, and put it in this baby.
Exactly. As the snow falls, it fills up in here as well, and then we melt that down to get a water equivalent. How much water produced that snowfall?
We often talk about a 10-to-1 ratio. This snow will probably be around that.
Yeah, 10-to-1, maybe 9-to-1.
Yeah.
It depends what part of the area. It'll be a pretty average consistency snow.
And explain to everybody at home what these are for, because they're going to ask, they're going to want to know. This has more to do with liquid precipitation.
Yeah, this protects the wind from blowing the precipitation too far off the opening of our rain gauge.
Yeah, I have some meteorologist friends that say that, you know, hey, wait a minute, how can you get that much more? You know, what do you have, your rain gauge near a downspout?
Yeah, right.
So this takes care of that.
It does.
So Maria and Alex, we've got the snowboards ready. Now we just need the flaking. Let's look at that hour-by-hour forecast. Snow at any moment here. It's been snowing all afternoon towards South Appleton, Oshkosh, and then the intensity will pick up this evening, later this evening, overnight into tomorrow morning. Look at that, moderate to heavy at times, winds gusting 40 to 45 miles an hour. Thus, the blizzard warning kicks in this evening and goes until noon tomorrow. But the worst will be midnight to 9 a.m. We're looking for a storm total here of around a foot or so of snowfall. That's a lot of snow, and they're down about 9 inches so far for the season. So, Jeff, it hasn't been that bad this winter, and even last winter when it was all back in Boston.
Right, it was. Yeah.
You didn't have much snow.
No, it was 2 winters in a row almost. You know, again, we'll see what happens with this storm here, but a couple of winters in a row with below normal snowfall.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Alex, Maria, we'll come back with more cool stuff from the Weather Service at the bottom of the hour.
And Mike, I just want to thank you, and on behalf of our audience too, you're taking full advantage of the pre-storm coverage. It's so fascinating, the behind the scenes. This is a view that you don't get to see that often, of the inner workings of what is very important, important jobs, important people, and important information, and where it's all coming from. So really appreciate it. Fascinating stuff. Thank you. So we're going to check in with Mike again.
I'll pass along the thanks to them.
I appreciate it. Please do as well. Wow. And in the heart of that heavy snow zone is Green Bay, Wisconsin, and that's where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel this afternoon. And Mike, they made the call to issue that blizzard warning for good reason. You got the wind and the snow component.
Yes, later on tonight we expect those blizzard conditions. Jeff Last is here, the warning coordination meteorologist. We're back inside for a little while to warm up, waiting for the first flakes here. And we were just watching the pictures here on the Weather Channel from the Denver area. And it seems like we're going to have the same kind of deal here after midnight tonight.
Yeah, it looks like sometime after midnight until about 6 to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, we expect some blizzard conditions across Green Bay and the Fox Valley as those strong northeast winds kick up and the snow begins.
And the major interstates up here, 41 and 43.
Correct, yeah. Those are north-south interstates, so they'll be impacted, and certainly all the roads really will be impacted tonight.
Let's walk over to Phil Karimsky. He's the senior forecaster here. Phil, you've got the graphic up, and we're showing folks what's going on. There's the blizzard warning in the, I'm a little colorblind, that's orange, correct?
Yeah, it's kind of like an orange pinkish color, but this is where we have the blizzard warning in effect right now.
And tell me about the observations.
Well, you see some of our observations are showing some heavy snow already occurring. We got some in the Oshkosh area, as well as further south in Fond du Lac and Sheboygan.
And as far as the snow getting in here, it looks like it's going to start snowing at any moment.
Yes, it does. If you look at the radar screen down here, you see the snow is lifting north, and it should get here pretty soon. We're expecting it any moment.
Okay, there you go, Phil Karimsky. And Ashley, she's the one that issued the blizzard warning. Ashley out about an hour ago.
Yep.
So you're confident now. It's all on your shoulders.
Yeah. Well, don't say that. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that we're going to get blizzard conditions at some point. It's going to be a long period where winds will be very gusty, and we're going to have fairly dangerous conditions starting after midnight through much of the morning Thursday.
Well, you know, you need 3 consecutive hours, visibility a quarter mile or less, and snow and blowing snow, wind gusts 35 or higher. And if you remember back to the big storm back in late January that hit D.C., Baltimore, Philly, all those cities under blizzard warnings, 30 inches of snow. Snowiest, biggest storm on record at Dulles in some spots. Never verified officially a blizzard, so it's a fine line sometimes.
It is a fine line, but we try to consider our customers, like the public and the people who make the important decisions about whether or not to have school, whether or not to issue any kind of plows, what kind of operations they need to plan for. And in this type of situation, it is fairly dangerous. We could have power outages, gusty winds, tree damage, dangerous road conditions. So considering that, even if it will be very close, that kind of put us over the edge where we really need to make sure people are safe and prepared.
Okay, let's ask Jeff Last one more question. The warning coordination meteorologist. Typically, we're at the Weather Service offices for severe weather. They bring extra staffing in a situation like this, extra staffing?
Yeah, we do have extra staffing with the snowstorms as well, especially a big storm like this, so that we can answer the phones, do social media, and make sure that the public knows what to expect as the storm moves in.
Okay, let's take a look at that local forecast. For this area, there's the hour by hour. Again, snow starting to fly here soon. It's been snowing south of here for several hours. Later tonight through tomorrow morning, we expect the worst of the storm. Moderate to heavy snow, along with the blowing and drifting snow. Winds will be gusting upwards of 40 to 45 miles an hour. Thus, the blizzard warning for 1 a.m. tonight, tomorrow morning, after midnight, until later tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. And we're looking for about a foot of snow here, a foot of snow here in the Green Bay area. And we'll keep you updated as the flakes fly. And by the way, ladies, we're going to show the weather balloon launch live on the Weather Channel at 7 Eastern, 6 Central with Mike Bettis on Weather Underground. It's going to be pretty exciting. The balloon, 35-mile-an-hour winds, and snow at the same time.
Really, really interesting. And all of that information going into that next model run. So important balloon launch, too. All right, Mike Seidel in Green Bay, Wisconsin at the National Weather Service office there. And
Mike Seidel, he is in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
And we want to check in with him for an update with the snow moving in closer and closer, Mike.
Yes, indeed. We've had some flakes. It's trying to snow out here at the National Weather Service here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You may see a few fly by on camera because the winds are still gusting over 30 miles an hour. Jeff Last is back outside. And before we go any further, we want to tease the fact that coming up in about 2 hours at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, we're going to be out here at the Upper Air Building, as I've called it, the Balloon Garage. But it's officially the Upper Air Building. And we're going to show everybody how you send off the weather balloon. It should be pretty interesting this evening because of the wind and the snow.
Yeah, with the wind gusts and the snow falling, it'll be a fun sight to see, I think.
Yeah, with my low body weight, if I hung onto it, I don't know, what a northeast wind, I'd end up where? Somewhere down around Manitowoc.
Yeah, somewhere down south. Yeah.
And we've got some other instrumentation here. That's the old-time weather instrument shelter.
Yeah.
You've seen those for years, but that's not in use anymore.
Right. It's called the Cotton Region Shelter, used for many, many years across the country. And it housed a thermometer, a couple of thermometers, in fact, where we got the high and low temperatures. Of course, everything's automated now with our electronics, so it's easier than it used to be to measure temperature.
And the cooperative weather observers, the ones in the backyards, the folks that have been doing it from home for years, they still use those shelters.
Some do.
Some do.
And some use the instrument that is on that pole right there. That's a max min temperature sensor, MMTS, which is all electronic as well now. But it makes it easier for our observer volunteers to measure temperatures for us.
Let's check out that hourly forecast because we have the blizzard warning kicking in.
So some amazing stuff. Meteorologist Mike Seidel in one of the other hot spots for expected snow, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Mike, the snow has started to come down, and you were talking to the National Weather Service forecasters, and they're saying, you know what, it may be spring, but we're still excited about this.
Yeah, they're a little excited because they haven't had much snow this season. They're 9 inches below average. And you think Green Bay being a really snowy place, well, It is and it isn't. They have a typical season, about 50 inches of snow. Parts of Wisconsin average over 100 up towards Lake Superior in that snow belt. Hey, Scott Birchbacker is here. He's one of the National Weather Service forecasters, and we're going to be sending up the weather balloon live on the Weather Channel in about an hour and 5 minutes at 7 Eastern. This is the only upper air station in Wisconsin, one of 70 in the continental United States, and there's the balloon right there.
That's correct. Yep, we'll be getting the balloon inflated in the next few minutes at the top of the hour, and we'll be ready for the release at 6 o'clock.
And because of the winds, it's a two-person launch today.
Yeah, we're going to do a tag team today. My coworker Scott is going to come out here. For safety reasons, we'll have two people out here to release the balloon, just in case the winds get a little too gusty.
Well, we're kind of protected here.
We're sheltered here, but we have some trees that we may hit. So.
And you told me that every now and then a balloon does get caught in the tree before it goes up to the stratosphere.
I've clipped it a couple times. I haven't got one caught in there yet.
Okay,
so
well,
we won't today.
Live on TV, you want to give it your best effort.
Correct.
Okay, Scott, we'll be back with him in about 5 or 6 minutes. At the top of the hour, ladies, with Mike Bettis on Weather Underground, we're going to first inflate the balloon, not with helium, but with hydrogen. And then an hour later at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, we'll send it up. They send it up about an hour before what we call 00Z Zulu. They go up twice a day. That way they can get the data and information in and get them into the models, and that'll help forecast the weather down the road. The GFS goes out 16 days. The European model goes out to 240 hours. So that's all coming up live for you in a few minutes. And at 7 Eastern, that's the exciting launch here in the wind and the snow in Green Bay. Maria? And Alex, back to you.
I think it's fascinating, and I think it's a great idea to share with our viewers. It's critical data that they're collecting to put into this model. The better the information is at the start, the better chance you have at a good model run.
Absolutely, and this is kind of a sneak peek into the inner workings of the National Weather Service that a lot of us don't get to see on the regular. So cool stuff. We look forward to that. Mike will be checking back in with you, of course.
Evening. Let's check in now with meteorologist Mike Seidel. He is stationed in Green Bay, Wisconsin right now. Mike, when do you anticipate some of the worst conditions for Green Bay? Do you think we could potentially get blizzard conditions in parts of Wisconsin?
That's potentially the case. That's why they issued the blizzard warning starting at 1 a.m. here at the National Weather Service in Green Bay, so we could have the same kind of scene we had in Denver. We're out here at the upper air building. I like to call it the balloon garage. Scott Birchback is here, and we've got the balloon filling up with hydrogen right now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it takes 10 to 15 minutes to fill it up with hydrogen. We'll see how big it gets at the end here when we release it. But yeah, we do this twice a day, both at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
And you told me that you only get about 2 fillings out of 1 canister of hydrogen, which is about this high. I was amazed because, we all cook at home with the propane gas tank, and we, grill for a month on one container, 120-pound container.
Yeah, we do go through quite a bit of hydrogen. Since you'll see as the balloon gets bigger, we do fill it up with quite a bit, so we go through quite a bit.
And it has an automatic stopgap.
That's correct. We do it on weight, so once it reaches a certain weight, the device will lift up, and that'll stop the gas from flowing.
Okay, we're going to come back inside the National Weather Service in Green Bay, talk to Scott and another Scott, and look at the radio sign that will be attached. That's the instrumentation that measures all the atmospheric quantities, the temperature, the wind speed, wind direction, moisture.
Right, and that's what we're going to put in the end of the balloon, and that's what we're going to send up to get us the real-time data in the atmosphere.
Okay, Scott, thanks. We're going to do that in about 30 minutes here at 6:30 Eastern on the Weather Channel. Meanwhile, your hour-by-hour forecast here in Green Bay, and notice the snow intensity picking up, the bar graph getting higher as we roll through tonight and then into tomorrow morning. Worst of the weather, midnight to say about 8 and 9 in the morning because of the intensity of the snow combined with wind gusts over 40 miles an hour. That's why the blizzard warning was issued for Appleton, also Green Bay and the Door County Peninsula. 7 counties up here in extreme northeast Wisconsin. Otherwise, it's a winter storm warning across the areas to our west and south. Not expecting to have the combination of wind and heavy snow. So Mike Bettis, quite a night and morning here in Green Bay. We'll show you the radio sign in 30 minutes, and then we'll send it up in an hour.
All right, Mike Seidel and live in Green Bay this evening. Looking forward to that real legitimate, as it's happening, science there in Green Bay, Wisconsin. One of those places could be Green Bay, Wisconsin, under a blizzard warning. Meteorologist Mike Seidel is there. Mike, we anticipate the conditions get a lot worse, but as you've been pointing out, we need to do some real-time meteorology to help the forecast.
Exactly. Twice a day they send up weather balloons from 70 stations in the continental U.S. The only one in Wisconsin is right here in Green Bay. Scott Coltice is with the Weather Service here, and in about a half an hour we're going to go outside and send it up in the snow and the wind. But before we do that, you have to get everything set with the actual radio sonde itself.
Yeah, right now we're in the process of baselining the sonde and make sure everything is looking good from the pressure, temperature, and the relative humidity. And it looks like everything's been locked on. You see all these green check marks down here.
Right.
Which is a good sign. And we let it baseline for 5 minutes, and then we wrap it up, get ready for launch, and we'll head outside.
Kind of like an EKG, huh?
Exactly.
Get the baseline.
Exactly.
And let's take a look at the radio sonde up here.
Okay. So this is a radio sonde as we release these twice a day, and once it gets in the atmosphere, it sends back data from the pressure, the winds, and relative humidity. Then once it gets all wrapped up, let's say in 2 hours, we QC the data here. We send it back out east for the next model run.
Yeah, and the 0Z model runs, European, and well, all the runs.
I would say all
GFS.
the runs, GFS, yeah, NAM.
Gets all the data. Now, occasionally they'll send up special radio sondes in specific weather situations. We've seen that recently with winter storms and with severe weather.
For severe weather, yeah. On occasion here at Green Bay, we might get maybe a couple a year for special 18Z releases.
It's not cheap, though.
No, it's not. The actual price for the launch, the hydrogen, is around $300, $350, maybe $400.
Wow. And how many of these come back with you being downwind from Lake Michigan?
Well, I've been here over 19 years, and I've seen roughly 10 have actually been mailed back here. But I'm sure the ratio is probably a little bit higher.
Yeah, okay. Well, Scott, we're going to head outside with the other Scott to the upper air building. I call it the balloon garage. And Mike Bettis, in about 25 minutes, we're going to set this thing up live on the Weather Channel with the winds gusting to 30 miles an hour and the snow flying here in Green Bay. Luckily, we still have daylight, so this time of the year it's a lot easier to see the balloon. Tomorrow morning, they'll try to do it in what could be a blizzard, so we've got better visibility to do that in here on TWC in about 25 minutes.
Yeah, that thing is just going to take off in those 30-mile-an-hour winds. Mike, thank you for the update. Really looking forward to land for sure. Hey, let's get you over to Green Bay, Wisconsin right now. Check in with meteorologist Mike Seidel. Going to bring you some real weather science tonight, folks. Live weather balloon, Mike. Take it away.
Okay, here we go. Mike Bettis, Scott Birchback, and also Scott Coltice here from the National Weather Service. Scott Coltice will be manning the balloon. It's a big beige-colored balloon, and it's got hydrogen in it, very flammable. And Scott will take care of the radio sonde. Now, we've got winds of about 35 miles an hour in gusts. We've got snow. We don't want to do any soil samples. We don't want to get into the trees. And how fast we'll be out of the way? Well, where we don't see it, because we got the ceiling down to about 3,000 feet.
Yeah, with the ceiling coming down and the snow, probably no more than a minute or two.
Okay, Matt Safer's on the camera. We're going to try to follow this. Again, 69 other stations, 70 upper air stations do this around the country twice a day. Here we go. Here comes the balloon. They're doing a two-man operation today because of the wind. As they come out of the upper air building, they've got the orange there and the radio sonde with Scott Birchback over here.
This way.
We're going to come this way. Look at the wind out here whipping. Keep an eye on the balloon and how fast it goes downwind. Boy. Yep. There they go. And then Scott will let the radio sonde go at some point. Look at him running downwind. There it goes. Let's see how long we can keep it on camera. Boy, it's going back and forth with the wind. The snow intensity has picked up. We're finally getting into a band. We haven't had much snow here for the entire afternoon. We're still seeing it going down over the airport. Now, they call the airport control tower before they send it up to let them know, and all the pilots know. There it goes, Scott, into the ceiling, into the snowfall.
Yeah, we got a gust there, so that's why I had to run with it for a little bit. But it's up and going.
And it gets bigger as it goes up because the pressure decreases.
Yeah, as the pressure decreases in the atmosphere, this balloon will get bigger and bigger, pretty much as big as this upper air building that you've been showing this afternoon.
And now it's sending back the automated reports, the temperature, the moisture, the dew point, all that.
Every second it sends back all that data, yep.
Have we lost it, Matt? Yeah, I think we've lost it. There you go. Well,
That was fun.
Not too shabby. Yeah. Scott and Scott, thanks for your help out here. National Weather Service in Green Bay. Again, these observations will go into the zero-Z computer models forecasting not only the rest of this storm, but the one next week. And the American model goes out 16 days. Mike Bettis, back to you in Rochester, Minnesota, as the snow starts to really wind up here in Green Bay.
Yeah, pretty awesome stuff there, Mike. Thank you very much. A lot